Are you sure this isn't getting out of hand, Matt?
A few things might have changed, but the end result will still be the same.
If you're sure, as long as he isn't playing with us, the Cold Reads Council has to suffer.
And they will. Everything will work out as long as we stick to the plan.
What plan? He's flying by the seat of his pants, if he's even wearing any today.
He may have some quirks, but don't we all?
If your quirk is being undead, then we both have that in spades.
Raven, trust me. This will work.
Trusting you is what got me into this mess.
Shh. Keep it down. He'll hear you.
I bet you anything he's sitting behind that God's damned desk twiddling his thumbs right now.
A fool's bet, Raven. One I will not take.
Good hour to you, young gentlemen. Glad tidings, I hope you bring.
1, it's good morning. And 2, I may be young, but he's 5,000 years old.
3, no such thing, and 4, that's a mere drop in the pond.
We've successfully weakened the council by taking Renara out of play. With her incapacitated, the barriers protecting Coldread's borders have fallen.
Brilliant! Just as I planned.
And we executed.
Yes, the time for chopping off heads will come at the end, not a moment before. Now, Raven, do you have news to report?
With Renara gone, and the river poisoned, many of Coldread's adversaries, even a few turncoats, have joined our cause. Our numbers grow with each passing day. We've already passed 20,000 men.
Well, I must say, Raven, you really have outdone yourself. That's a lot more than you boys had the last time you failed. Of course, this is your chance to make up for that. The troop numbers are a start, but it's not enough. Even without their little pixie.
Damn! That bloody hurts, you know.
We will lose too many troops to that damn magician and his cheap tricks.
Is that Renara?
Ah, yes, my new bauble. I think I'll have her pride of place on my tree.
I'll tell you where to stick your bloody tree. Right up your...
Yes, well, that's quite enough of that.
But what about Grim? Send me. I have the souls of his fallen. I can take him.
And run the risk of you failing again? I will not let death cheat me a second time. No, I need someone more competent than you neophytes. Meet the newest member of our council. He is a wraith. That is all you two need to know.
I shall not fail.
Your brilliant plan is to send the vengeful spirit of a dead man up against death itself. Are you actually as mad as you seem?
Yes, because the living did so well last time.
So, what is your plan, Wraith? How can you defeat him where we could not?
Your focus was divided, tainted by anger, or perhaps even fear. I have no such weakness. You speak with such venom, Raven, but your vengeance lacks substance, like your defenses when your friends abandoned you. And you, Matt, your confidence does little to hide your unwillingness to do what is necessary. Perhaps those old friendships still run deep. Both of you have tried, and both of you have failed dismally. And the shame should follow you to the grave. that Grim will no doubt prepare for you if he catches sight of you again. I am the wind that carries the wails of widows whose babes have been snatched by the wolves. I am the terror that engulfs the hearts of the living as the news of death comes knocking at their door. I am the screams of warriors who watch helplessly as their friends fall in battle. Battles he led the charge for. I am vengeance, and I come for the man who all must meet. Grim created the instrument of his own undoing, and all have paid their fare, except for him. It is time that death paid his toll.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Season 2 finale of the saga of Cold Read, composed masterfully by our own Renara Hawke. Renara, that was incredible. Wow, I have little to no words about that. That was just fantastic.
Bravo.
I have to honestly, I really need to give it up to, but Matt, Ravenmane, Jeff Leeson, who is the voice of Tempest, who is our new big bad guy, and David Swanson is the voice of the Wraith, and he they made this so much more amazing than I could have ever hoped for. This is probably one of the best intros I've made so far, and I'm so proud of it. I'm so happy.
Yeah, that was
super good.
Oh yeah, just the sound effects, the music, all of it, just on point. I loved it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cold Read, a cold voice actor. Yep, we're all dead now. Voice actors podcast, where we talk about our experiences in voice acting in an attempt to aid you in your own endeavors. If you have any demo reels, any auditions, any advice that you would like us to impart upon you, please contact us at coldreadthepodcast@gmail.com, or you can find us on Twitter at coldactor. We would love to talk with you and give you as much advice as we possibly can in order to help you on your own adventures. As we do every week, we're going to check in with everybody and see how everyone is doing. We're getting very close to the holidays, so I'm sure everyone is very stressed out, but let's start across the mighty river of the, Atlantic, Pacific? I don't know geography. Renara, how are you doing? Yeah, the pond.
I'm all right. I had work has suddenly become a little bit extra, considering I thought my job ended this week. It does not. I have one more extra week, so my body's kind of already in holiday mode when I've got one more week of work, and I'm going, I don't want to do it. But no, that's that. I mean, I've been working. I've been working mainly on your thing, Eldurrino, this past week, to be honest. We recorded my song over the weekend. Oh my god, that was an experience. I think you can agree on that, or it felt like that to me, because I get in my head sometimes, all the time, and I think I'm rubbish when apparently I'm not, according to Eld. So we'll see how that comes out. I actually sent my demo reel off to somewhere. I auditioned for something with my demo reel for the first time, which was fun.
Awesome.
I'm waiting on that. And then I will be in the future putting together the season 2 big amalgamation of all of the intros for season 2 on my channel. So that'll be the next thing that I'm going to be working on to get that out for everyone. So yeah, that is me.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, and Matt has already mentioned in chat, he cannot wait to hear you sing. Matt, let me give you a little bit of insight.
Oh, no.
It is incredible. Like, you have no idea, and I am so excited next week to be able to show it off to you guys. I really hope everyone really likes where this is going. I editing it yesterday was a pleasure. It was a treat. Misty, how's your week been?
It's been pretty good. So I mentioned this in the group today, but we finally have a trailer for an audio drama that I'm a part of. It's called Radiant Force. I play one of the villains, so it's been something where I was cast a few months ago, but it has been honestly the whole time it's been progress. They've always been talking about the writing process and getting the pilot, and it's just been so fun being part of a project that you see movement and you see people collaborating with each other. And it's an experience I haven't had with any of the other projects I've been cast with. They've been kind of in limbo for a while. So this is really exciting, and I can't wait to see how it moves forward. And I also created a TikTok over this past week.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've just done some, since I'm part of a movie Discord server too, I've uploaded some movie related stuff and gonna do some voiceover challenges, and that's what I'm gonna focus on. To sort of
awesome.
Yeah, I'm not going to resist the temptation of the addiction of just scrolling.
Yeah, right. No, hopefully it won't get sucked into that, because I know it's very easy to fall prey to that, but I think you're a smart enough person. I think you'll do all right.
The whole screen is literally scrolling, so it's like that.
Oh, sure. Zamoody,
yes.
I understand you're feeling a bit under the weather, my friend.
Yeah, unfortunately, about halfway through the last week, I picked up some sort of respiratory bug, either bronchitis or something, and trying to take it easy. So I handed over the reins to Mr. Eldurrino up there, but I still got the chance to record your lines, and I swear you're going to want half of them redone because I was just completely loopy at the time. So I'm very curious about that.
What's with the character?
Yeah. I mean, granted, the progression of the character, I think that might play a part into it. So we'll see. Okay. I haven't listened to the whole thing, but I like where it's going so far.
It got worse as it went, I swear, because, yeah, that's what was happening. And unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately at the same time, I'm still getting jobs from J-Show Clips that needed to get recorded. So it's just like, you try to do the best that you can. You know, my recordings have been a bit scuffed, but happy that the work is still rolling in and happy that I'm still doing it. So I can't complain.
Right. Yeah. I mean, consistent work is always very nice to have in the back of your mind, you know? I know we were just discussing this beforehand, and yeah, the payouts are pretty nice, you know, nice little pad to that paycheck.
Absolutely.
As far as my week, it's been a lot. It's very, very hectic, not only just finishing up everything that I possibly can in regards to the rock opera, but this weekend, as Renara mentioned, we recorded her song, which turned out fabulously. I really can't wait for people to hear it. Unfortunately, you won't hear it on next week's episode, but there will be a separate release that will have the entire thing, because it's probably going to be close to an hour, maybe. On top of that, we're also, getting ready for the holidays, doing last minute shopping, getting all that done. And then myself and my girlfriend looked at an apartment last week, and we put in our deposit. So we will be moving on January 1st, which is great. I like this house that we're living in now, but we also have to share it with 2 other people, and it'll just be nice to kind of get out on our own and be able to do our own thing, and I don't have to worry about upsetting anybody anytime I need to record lines, or if I just want to yell at the wall for no apparent reason. But yeah, otherwise, week has been fantastic. So we have a myriad of topics to discuss today, and I'm pretty excited. I know last week, Renara, you were talking about putting yourself out on Twitter in regards to demo reels and artistry for said demo reels, and we never really got a good chance to discuss that, about how you were approached about it. So I will hand the rein off to you and let you have your Ren rambles.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's going to probably turn into one of those, because I tell things in story format. No. So, how do I word this and start this off? Right. So I had originally, the first time I'd done something like this on Twitter, it was for my demo reel. So I'd put out a thing saying, hey, does anybody know anyone who does demo reels? And I got a really good sort of feedback from a load of people, recommending loads of people, and sort of like people being like, oh, you can just come and check us out and whatever, and being really nice and not forcing stuff on me, foreshadowing. But so I thought, hey, so if that's how people on Twitter behave, yes, I know, hindsight is 2020. I sort of went, well, maybe I could do the same for artwork and possibly commission artwork, like artists via Twitter that way. Oh, I got a very different response. Very different response to that. Where I was expecting sort of people to just do the same thing of like showing samples of work, giving me a contact details like the previous one, I got an influx of open your DMs and we can chat. Open your DMs. And I'm there going, oh, okay, hello. And then I had to explain that I keep my DMs closed to stop an influx of random people from like coming thing. And that just seemed to upset the art community in a weird way. And that this is from a voice actor's perspective. So I have no idea what sort of, like, if I did a social taboo or something over on the art side of Twitter. But I basically went, right, if I'm not going to look at anyone who's trying to get me to talk to them privately on a DMs. I think that like, I'm not going to do that. Don't try and force me to do that. Otherwise, I'm not going to work with you, because that's giving a bad impression on my front. So whenever I got quite a few, and I got some actual studios who they actually presented some artwork and went, check out, like, we have a website if you're interested. And the stuff I was expecting of, here's some things, have a look if you want to check us out. So I only looked at those people who gave me what I asked for in my original tweet. I looked in, I found a really nice studio. I have no idea if I should shout them out or not. I probably should, because they are really good and they're really reasonable. I can't.
Sure. If they worked out well for you, go for it.
Yeah, they are really good and really reasonable. I'm gonna try and pronounce this. I think it's pronounced Evoke A&D Commissions. You can find them on Twitter. They are a studio, so that it's a bunch of artists working in tandem. They have a wonderful website, and their prices are so really reasonable. They're really lovely, and I was tossing it up, and I was just sort of like, these guys are really good. And I think I was lucky in a weird way. I found some people who were actually nice. So I got there, but it was really weird, at the very least, to have that juxtaposition between what I got from the voice acting side of Twitter and what I got from the art side of Twitter. And I've just found that a bit abrasive, in the sense of I had no idea that there could be such different communities in that regard, if that makes sense. So if anyone out there who is part of the art community who could actually explain why so many artists, especially, and it was quite a lot of younger artists, by which I mean they were 17 to 19 years old, because I looked at their bios and went, that's really young. If there's any explanation as to why so many of them wanted me to DM them privately about it, please explain to me, because it baffled me when it occurred. But luckily enough, it worked out. I've got something in the process, and I will have some nice original artwork to go with my demo reel, which I finished, which will then get put together, and then I will be able to put it together as a video and have it pinned on my Twitter and other places on YouTube. So. But that was my experience, and I'm not even sure if it's an experience that if anyone else has had on this side of Twitter. I think I'm pretty new to Twitter, so I don't think I was expecting that. But
right,
but yeah,
and we'll get to your demo reel here in a minute, because I don't think any of us have heard it, so I think we're all very excited to check that out. But I will give my insight onto that, because back probably about a year and a half ago, I was still streaming on Twitch. I was still trying to make a semi regular career out of that, and I put myself out there in an attempt to look for emote artists.
Yeah.
And I don't think my experience was quite as abrasive as yours was, but I ran into the same thing. There was there was a few people that simply said, you know, open your DMs and we'll talk. And I chose not to go with those people just for the fact that when you look at it, you want to present yourself like a business. You know, that's what you're trying to do. You're offering a product, you want to be paid for it, present yourself appropriately. And so I did end up going with someone who presented themselves a lot better. They said, hey, my name is such and such. I heard you're looking for an artist. Here's examples of my previous work. If you would like to talk, please let me know and we'll figure something out. And I looked at their stuff and it was fantastic. But I think there's a lot of people out there that they see themselves simply as an artist and they don't fully understand yet how to conduct themselves as a business person as opposed to just simply an artist, which if they're young, it makes sense. You know, they may just simply be getting into it. They just may be putting their feelers out there looking for work, you know? So I feel like, and this, I guess, can be advice for people who are artists and are looking to find clients. Don't be so aggressive with your sales pitch, you know, just simply say, here's who I am. Here's examples of my product or my work. And if you're interested and would like to know more, then simply let me know, because the way I see it is you're leaving the door open. And that invites conversation. It's something that I learned way back in like corporate America, essentially. You know, like you keep the door open in order for people to come in and check it out and see if it's something that they're interested in. I feel like just simply saying, "Message me right now. We need to figure something out." Like, that's like. And I'm not trying to insult anybody, but kind of see that like Jehovah's Witness kind of thing where you open the door and they're like, hey, can we come inside and talk to you about stuff? And I'm like, nah, I got better things to do with my life. But, you know, that's just simply my view on it. I think it's more appropriate to just simply leave the door open, let people come inside, see what you have to offer. And if they like you, they'll reach back out.
Yeah.
So I took a second. No, sorry. I looked through my messages on Twitter. I have 10 from artists just bombarding me either on the Twitch side or the overlay side. And I've talked to some of them because I have been thinking about updating some of my stuff. And one of them was offering like $280 for the full package. And that's like the overlays and like 5 emotes, and that's it. And I know Fiverr is a much better price point when it comes to that. So my original emotes all came from Fiverr. They were maybe like $5 a piece, and they've done really well. But but they're all in the same boat when it comes to message me or immediately here's the message and this giant spiel, and they're so forceful when it comes to this stuff. It just doesn't. I wouldn't do it that way.
Right. And I understand. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Misty.
Stands to say that it also sort of implies that they don't know how to follow instructions, or they just saw immediately that like, oh, they want an artist, I'm going to pitch myself like very curtly. When I remember you actually mentioned in your post, like, I would love, if you have any examples of your work, please leave them here. I'd love to have a look at them. Instead they're just like, hey, I want to talk to you. Hey, DM me. And it's like, well, you have to present some of your work. Otherwise, it's putting more work on the person making the post. I have to go through all of these people's pages to look at samples. It's like, present your work first. That way it gives a really good impression. And it's like, hey, I really like what I saw. I want to work with you.
Yeah. Because I got the distinct impression it was almost like I was being snagged. Like, it was like it's like, I need to snag this person right now. Otherwise, I'm not going to get anything. And it was that sort of mine attitude that just sort of put me on edge and made me uninterested. And I think that was just what I experienced and how it made me feel. So I think, I agree with the fact that maybe then, what was I trying to say? Something to do with the fact that yes. I'm just going to leave it there.
It felt like a bidding war.
Yeah. And it makes sense because in the world of art, especially when you are doing something freelance, it is very fierce, very competitive. So yeah, you definitely want to snag people's attention as soon as you can, you know, because everyone's going to be doing the same thing. They're going to be going out and looking for their next client and try to get their interest immediately. But you should let your work speak for itself. No one has ever, well, at least not that I'm aware of, no one has ever really said like, I really like the fact that this person was super aggressive right away and just immediately talked my ear off and didn't even mention anything about their work until half an hour into the conversation. Like, again, keeping the door open for your client is probably the best practice. That way they can take their time, they can look at it, they will feel comfortable with you as a business person. And if they like your stuff, like I said, it will speak for itself. And then they will come to you and say, you know, I like it, let's work out a deal. And I don't feel like necessarily mentioning numbers right off the bat is a good idea either, just because it's not necessarily about the money. Like, if somebody wants something bad enough, they'll pay you whatever, you know, reasonably priced thing that you're asking. But just saying, you know, like, hey, I'll do everything that you want for $280. Like, I don't know, that seems a little crass to me. Yeah. But I mean, again, that's my opinion. Everyone is welcome to their own. So catching up with chat here, Burnham says, are they using like LFG video game etiquette? Quote, tank, add me. Yeah,
Very much.
I think a lot of us understand that, because
I'm available.
It's pretty much pretty much like that. Here's my invite code, add me. Matt says pictures speak 1,000 words, and yes, 100% true. If you are a dedicated and talented artist, your work is going to speak for itself. Like, that's why you just simply present yourself and you say, hey, here's my work, let me know what you think, and if you want to work out something. And again, if it's good enough, it's something that someone likes, then they will reach out. And the same thing goes with anything, really. I mean, as voice actors, we all understand that our voices are not going to be suitable for everyone. We have our own niches, we have our own talents. We are simply putting ourselves out there. Hey, here's my demo reel, here's what I can do, let me know if you like it, and we'll work something out.
Well, and I think the lesson in here too is from a voice actor point of view is, don't show your desperation, because that's exactly what it's turning into. These people are so desperate to try to get these commissions and try to get money that they're coming off as just way too aggressive.
Exactly.
Something that I feel though, like, since you mentioned like the big difference between like the voice acting side of Twitter and artists, I'm not an artist myself, I'm not in those communities, but I think the major difference is that with voice actors, when they put like a casting call, they either ask for auditions and have like a piece where people actually submit their work, or they ask for a demo, but they give a description of what they're looking for beforehand. Like, I'm opening this role for the character is this year, they're this old, this ethnicity, this type of voice I'm looking for, this accent, anyone that fits that, you leave your demo reel. And with art, it's sort of, you have to see it to sort of understand what you're looking for. It's very vague for the most part when you're looking for art. It's like, I'm just looking for something for my series or for my demo reel, and I want to look at examples. So it's very different for them, because it's more of a free for all. So that's why they sort of get more intense in their responses, because they feel like it's for everyone. Everyone can contribute, and everyone can try to get this.
Right,
and I didn't think about that. Yeah.
That's certainly a fair point. I can agree to that. But at the same time, even in that sense, I still feel like it is more appropriate to present yourself a bit better. And like, okay, so for instance, if you were looking for a caricature of yourself or your image, whatnot, obviously there's tens of thousands of artists that could be able to do that. But I still feel like it's better to say, here's what I've done in the past, as opposed to I'm trying to think of a good comparison, but words are escaping me at the moment. But again, business perspective, I feel like it's better just to simply say, here's what I can do, let me know if you want to talk.
Agreed.
Any last thoughts on that before we move on?
Yeah, just,
I will take your
silence
as wow. Let's not say that ever again.
It's fine. I think that was what we call a natural closing to a conversation, Eldurrino. It doesn't happen often here.
I feel like we're in class, like, anybody have any questions? Dead silence.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to talk about the rest of whatever we're trying to learn. Burnham says the weird thing was how they were all pick me before even knowing what style you wanted. Right. And that's a very good point, But yeah, it's more about securing the job, essentially before anything else.
Kidnapping me before anyone else could.
Yeah, I like Matt's point. I said I want an oil painted style. This person does chibi.
There you go. Cool. So I guess now we can look at your demo reel, Renara, and see how it turned out, and we'll all say good things. I promise.
It can be bad as well. Dave even actually had a look at it and gave me some constructive criticism, which is great. So anything at all. Because he after last week, he just sort of like, you said you had a demo reel, I will happily listen to it. So okay, yay. So I've got some points from him already. So anything, be mean, be horrible, be as scathing as you possibly can. Go for it.
Cold Read the Podcast does not condone being mean or rude to anybody. Please be constructive with your criticism. Thank you.
Sorry.
I don't have the cool echo effect like Zamoody does because I don't have a cool XLR thing. So anyways.
It's fine. Thank you, Durino. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Handling dangerous elements like that, to me, shows a level of ignorance bordering on imbecilic. Jenkins, get me another cup of tea. I need to lay down lower than this man's IQ.
Well, sorry, Mr. Perfect, but last time I checked, heroes were actually meant to save people. Besides, what was I meant to do? I'm a chipmunk.
Captain, shields are down to 40% capacity. The ship will not be able to withstand much more of the enemy's fire. I would suggest rerouting power from all non-essential systems to enable us to come about.
Right, I've packed your lunch in your bag, with your books, and of course we couldn't forget Mr. Fluffles. And don't worry about being late, I'll make sure you get there on time. You dare disturb my court while it is in session, outsider! You should be begging for your life rather than digging your own grave. Though that image is growing on me. Captain, glad to see you made it here in one piece. Forgive the dust and dirt. Me and the boys haven't had time to spruce up the joint. Tom! Bugger! Benson! Archer, watch my 6. The rest of you, form up on me. We're gonna make these bastards eat lead. Are you with me, lads?
Wow. Very nice, very nice.
May I just quickly say that it was produced by Jeff Leeson. He is the mastermind behind like the actually editing it all together. So
nice.
I will say that.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now I was just thinking about it, and we were discussing before this that we had already listened to this, but I had listened to it, and I think I gave you some feedback. But I will let other people speak before me. So, Misty, do you have anything you'd like to say about this?
I do want to say I congratulate you for one big thing, which is one of the main critiques that was given during the session where I joined and they listened to a bunch of demo reels was that a lot of artists started out with like the really wacky voices or already starting off with something that wasn't their natural voice. And one of the critiques given was it's recommended to sort of start off with something very much in your natural range or with your normal voice, because that gives the idea first of who you are, what your natural voice is like, what they can possibly use it for. And then you can sort of lead into, oh, this is what else I can do. So I congratulate you for that, because I did notice that was what it started off, and then it got into like the other stuff.
I like that.
All right. Zamoody, do you have anything to add to that?
Okay. It felt a little crowded to me. I felt like I needed a little time to savor between the voices. Maybe like just a half second or a full second just in between, just to give me that little extra time to process. I loved your chipmunk voice. I think I remember you've done that before. I couldn't recall.
I can do it again if you'd like.
All right. I was not expecting that.
What was I meant to do?
That's good. I like
Sorry.
It's quite all right. I think there was one where you were doing the packing. I think the Foley is a little too high on that. I would rather hear your voice a little higher than that one. That's the only ones I can think of.
All right, fair. Technical aspects, I agree with what Zamoody said. I think the Foley was a bit too high. I feel like it kind of interrupts your voice at certain parts. It wasn't bad the entire way through, but yeah, I think there was a couple things that were just a bit too loud. Not that is obviously your fault by any means. Now, from a performance standpoint, I think everything was pretty solid. I think the motherly character towards the end could have been a bit more expressive in her voice, especially on the last line saying, like, don't worry about being late. I'll make sure you get there on time. Like, to me, it sounded just a little flat. I feel like throwing in that smile, like, you know, or even just like a wink, you know, just to yourself can really help enhance that performance. You know, like, don't worry, I'll make sure you get there on time. Something like that, I think, would really help it stand out. Yeah. And then the last one was kind of like a pirate or like a brigand type character. Am I right?
That was meant to be military. That was meant to be
militant. Okay.
That was meant to be sort of that was meant to be because I'd watched House of Ashes recently, so I was very inspired by World War II. Thanks, Matt. Sort of stuff like that. And it was meant to be a sort of like a female lieutenant meeting with their sort of commander on the battlefield, going, "Hi, sorry, I haven't had time to spruce up the joint," and then getting shot at.
Oh, gotcha.
Which was the idea.
Yeah, I got it from the language. It's like me and the boys. It's like, oh, okay. Like the guys. It's like, okay, that's like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was kind of on the right track. It's more of a, you know, some type of militant leader of some type, you know, whether it be captain or lieutenant, whatnot. The only thing I wanted to say about that one was I feel like it could have been a bit more aggressive. I like the accent that you employed. I like that you changed it up from your natural accent. Yeah. But even like at the very end when you said, "Are you with me, lads?" I feel like that was not using as much energy as you could have. And I know that we talked about this yesterday about really putting that breath into your gut and into your diaphragm and just letting loose as much as you can. I feel like that line, or just, I guess, the whole thing in general, really could have had a bit more energy to it. And I felt like that would have really brought the thing to a better light.
You've all actually touched on a few things that Dave actually has said as well to me, in the sense of with the voice and thing. And there's a couple of things that when I listen back to it, I kind of, for my performance, I go, oh yeah, maybe I should do that a bit. Which one was the end of the mother, so I do 100% agree with you on that. That if I was to go back and redo that, I'd change that. Also, it might be just because I'm English, but when I listen back to the last one, when I say bastards or watch Mass 6, which I sort of like listen to that and go, that doesn't sound entire, like the mass sounds forced, but that to me is me listening back and going, that's not the same as what I normally speak. So perhaps it's that's why I asked for someone else to be it's why I asked Jeff to actually like put it all together, because I needed that that what do you call it, external perspective to help me get out of my own head.
Right.
And stuff. So, but no, there are a couple of things there that is the same as what Dave said. So, yep.
Great minds think alike. Yeah. No, I mean, in regards to the accent, I mean, I'm not experienced in that vein, especially with that specific accent. So I couldn't necessarily tell the difference, like if there was any pronunciation mistakes or verbiage issues, whatnot. But Accent, I thought was great. I thought it was pretty solid. I look at things from like an emotion standpoint or performance standpoint, and that was really the only thing I could find that I think would have been nicer to have just been a little bit more energetic, a little bit more aggressive.
Do you think the order is? Did you think the order was all right, or did you think that there might have been a better way to order those characters?
For me personally, not really. I think the layout was pretty solid. You went from the first one, the like countess or the witch, to a silly character, to like a queen type character. There was just a lot. There was a nice variance, and it wasn't like evil. It wasn't aggressive. Just the kind of the same tropes back to back. There was a nice nice difference between each of the characters. So I thought it was fine. Anybody else have any comments?
Well, I'm kind of curious of the process, because I know I kind of talked to you on DMs when it comes to how did you come up with what you said?
So, I was left basically. I told myself, right, I will do. When I was talking to Jeff about it, I was like, right, I will do the sort of writing, performing. I just need someone else to help me with that. So I set about coming up with about all of the archetypes that were in my wheelhouse so I came up with things like queen, noble, vampire, soldier, AI, teaching assistant, all of these different sort of job roles and different archetypal type personalities that I could think, what am I good at? And then I sat down with Grim to go, Grim, I have like 15 of these. I need to cut this down to like 6 to 8, because and Dark Elf, thank you, Matt. I keep looking at chat. But no, so me and Grim sat down to sort of cut them down to the real, not bread and butter, but the ones that I like are in my wheelhouse, and I can do really well. So I had that help, and then Grim helped to write 3 lines for each archetype. So we kind of had a sort of like a beginning, middle, and end structure of a small scene. So we kind of like, what is each person doing? So like, for example, with the sort of one at the end with the soldier, I was like, right, they're here, this is what's happening, and this is how I want to exit this scene. And we did it like that, and that. Now, I had probably enough material for about like 2 to 3 minutes after doing all those 3. So when I gave them over to Jeff, he asked me, right, how long do you want this to be? And I said, well, the industry standard for over in England is 1 minute 15. So if we can keep it to that close, that would be great. And so I think that is why everything's feels all squashed together, because I think we were trying to keep it at 1:15. So I think that because I wasn't really willing to budge on making it any longer, because that's the industry standard and that's what I want to stick to, especially with my first demo reel. Right. So we did that, and then we then discussed a little bit on which lines to cut where and to make the story make sense. So like me and Jeff had a couple of meetings over Discord just on Sundays, just talking about it and sort of going over what we think about it. He was very lovely, and he went, I do not want to influence your decisions on this in any way, so go away, think about it, what do you want, and then I will do what I can with what you want. Which was very stressful for me, because I don't like making decisions. But it got me really like my analysis of my own voice and acting has grown by doing this, because I didn't have a director, which I think now looking back on it probably would have been a good idea. And from Twitter, a lot of people were saying you should have a director. But I think I was so stressed, and because I had someone from my Skywind lot asking for a demo reel to give to other people, that I was like, I need to get this done now. I need to do this now. I don't have the money to pay for this at all. I'm calling in favors left, right, and center at this point. I think is what it suffered from. It suffered from Ren panics rather than Ren rambles.
But we need to get a soundbite of that one too. Ren panics.
Ren But yeah,
that'd be fantastic.
After we'd done those things, and initially for the the fighting one at the end, I did have swearing in it. I was gonna, because that felt natural to me, because that's what they do in the military. They swear, they yell, they shout. And we had that conversation of, is the swearing putting you off putting that line in? Because it was that last line, because it was, out of the three of them, it was like, it was something completely different. It wasn't "Are you with me, lads?" It was a completely different line. And Jeff was like, "Yeah, I think it's probably not a good idea to have swearing in your demo." And I was like, "Okay." So I sat down and then really rewrote that, because he'd asked me what order, and I said what order, and then he did a mock-up, and then I wasn't happy with how it sounded, so I asked to change a couple round, but I knew I wanted that my natural voice at the beginning, and I knew I wanted that fighting one at the end, because I thought that would be a good send-off out of it. So I spent a bit of time just rewriting those those lines. I had Grim sat with me going, right, I need you to help me make sure this sounds militant, because Grim knows everything about the British military. So I had him double check to make sure what I'm sounding like sounds roughly all right. And then I recorded that. I did a few takes of those. I sent them in, and then we put it together. And then I got it back, and I was super happy with it. And then Jeff told me to just sit on it for a week. Just sit on it and wait and listen to it on as many devices as possible to see what it sounds like in different places. So I listened to it live on my phone, just out of the speakers. I listened to it on my computer. I listened to it downstairs on our TV speakers. And everything, just to know what it sounded like and whether there were certain things that sounded different. I was happy with what I heard after a week, and then I gave it, but I went, yay, it's mine. I sent it off to the Skywind person, and immediately the first feedback was, the Foley's too loud. And so I went back and went, I'm really sorry, Jeff, but is there a way we can tone down the Foley? And he advised along the lines of, he didn't want to tone it down as much, because then it lets some possible there might have been something to do with the quality of the takes I'd sent, or something along those lines, especially with the softer ones that he had to boost, that things might have started to leak through. So he did it a little bit more, but he wasn't happy to put it any lower. So I was like, this is fine. I'm getting this for free. I'm lucky. I'm so lucky right now that I even have something at this point. So I'm honestly blown away by everything that I've just managed to somehow to do with this. And for my first demo, I'm really happy with it, to be honest. I think so. But I've got a lot of stuff to think on for my next one. So there's that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, critiques aside and everything else considered, I mean, it was fantastic. And I certainly hope that it helps you out in your future endeavors, because I know, like, even with mine, which I heavily need to redo, because the swearing thing, is not super professional, but, well, I mean, I'll get to that eventually. But, I mean, as soon as I got mine done, a couple days afterwards, I had another job solely because I made that demo reel. So yeah, I imagine it will see you great success. All right, so for the last 10 minutes here, I wanted to talk to Misty real quick about this voice acting competition or voiceover competition that she has been a part of, that we were able to hear one of her auditions last week, and that was for your second round, correct?
Yes, that's for round 2. And I already submitted for round 3 last night, because I had this really just insane idea, and I had like the script and everything, and I recorded it. I was like, if I sit on this too much, I'm going to end up just finding things. I'm just going to send it, because I feel so confident in this. Yeah. And I did it. So
awesome. Do you want to talk to us about what that round was like, or what you had to do for it?
For round 3, so the competition is called Now Voice This. They're doing it. They've changed the format a bit to where they're going to do it 3 times a year. So, you know, if the worst happens, the good thing is we'll have more opportunities pretty soon later. And so it's a different prompt per round, and you can either choose 2 scripts that they have written for you to use. Anyone can use them or modify them even. But I've gotten my ideas just writing them out myself, because I really take advantage of these moments when they happen, when I get an idea and I'm like, okay, I need to do something with this or it's gonna go away. So this one was Christmas, and I'm a bit of a Scrooge and a Grinch, so I was like, I don't know if I can do something Christmas related without it sounding like the vile, just the distaste in my voice. It's gonna sound so fake. So I was like, actually, it's gonna sound fake. Might as well do something with it. So I did a mock Christmas movie trailer where it sounds very heartwarming and very lovely. And then it ends with the film being rated R for disturbing violence, imagery, and graphic language. I was like, yes, I love it. It was amazing. And I got inspired by a few different things I'd encountered over the past few weeks. So it was really good. And I had a lot of fun with it.
And I think Zamoody probably has that clip, right?
He has the new version of the last round.
So,
okay. Well, cool.
So here's what I'd like to do if we got a second. I'm gonna play the old one, and then I'm gonna play the new one, and this is just to show what a little bit of constructive criticism can show. All right. Here's the first one.
You won't get away with this, Ivy. But I already have. What are you going to do? How about this? Ow! My hair! Good luck with all that frizz.
Okay. And now the updated version.
You won't get away with this, Ivy. And just what will you do to stop me? How about this? My hair! Good luck with all that frizz.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, that was certainly a clear and distinct difference. Second one was certainly miles ahead of the other one. Wow.
Yeah, I've made a big distinction between the two characters to make sure it sounded different. And I went with another sort of take on the big scream so that it sounded very clearly like from the villain and her tone.
Yeah. Right. I noticed too, like the Foley effect that you added there too, like in the initial one was kind of cut briefly, and this one actually trailed off towards the end, which subtle change, but it makes a world of difference, at least for people like me. So, well, that's awesome. I'm really glad that you took the advice, and I'm really happy to see how that ended up turning out. And I really hope, I hope that we get to hear your third audition, because I'm not a Grinch myself, but I love How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I watch that movie every single year on Christmas, so I am very thrilled to hear that at some point.
Self-loathing.
I watch Grinch and I watch Elf every single Christmas, just because they're like my two favorite Christmas movies.
I would Home Alone every year. It's just so much fun.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we watched that one too, of course.
If I may ask a question, out of curiosity, while we were giving you the constructive feedback, how did that make you feel?
It honestly felt really good because I was unsure about it. Like that second round, the thing was, I had a longer script in mind. I had like that initial idea and it was really fleshed out, but I was like, crap, this is only 15 seconds.
It's okay to say shit, by the way. You're perfectly fine.
Yeah, you can swear. It's fine. This isn't your demo reel. It's fine.
Thank you. So I immediately thought to myself, like, yeah, shit, like it's 15 seconds and this is way too long. And as I kept going back and forth trying to trim things, I just wasn't happy. Because I was like, I have this story that I wanted to tell. I was like, they're sisters, but one's the villain. And one has like sort of like poison ivy-esque powers. So it's like but it's like a rose perfume that it's like infected the people. It's like, but I can't do this in this allotted time. So it kind of demotivated me, and I think that also influenced the performance a bit. And that's why I was really happy to hear something, because I just knew it wasn't feeling right. I was like, I can't quite pinpoint it, but I know it's not confident in it.
Right.
So the point I'm just trying to make is that by you putting yourself out there and allowing us to give you this constructive feedback, being vulnerable improved your performance. So for those of you that are listening, never be afraid of putting yourself out there, especially here. We are safe. We will try to give you as best constructive feedback as we can. So please send in all of your info. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, again, I'm very, very happy that you took the criticism. Very excited. I think you threw in your third audition.
Yeah,
I don't know
I've
if
got
you have
it.
time.
Ready?
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Yay.
Here we go.
This holiday season, discover the magic and the wonder of a mother trying to give her daughter the best Christmas ever. From the studio that brought you Puppies, A Pawful Holiday, starring Sandy, and Sandy. J Kids Pictures presents A Very Sandy Christmas. This film is rated R for disturbing imagery, alcohol use, suggestive themes, and foul language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Oh my God.
I'd watch that. I'd watch that. Yeah.
I loved it.
Yay! I was just so inspired. I was like, I need to do this immediately. I recorded it. I did the thing last night. I was like, I'm just so excited for once.
Yeah, that was amazing. Go ahead, Ron.
I was going to say, it doesn't sound like, I know you and yourself probably felt, oh, this is fake, this is cringy, but it doesn't sound it. At the very least, it sounds like a movie, like most movie things, like, this is da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It is already in that sort of fake peppy area. So even if you're in yourself, you felt that, it didn't come across, if that makes sense, I'm trying to say in that regard. It came across what you intended, which is fake peppy kind of, yay, I am part of this.
Right.
You've sent it in already, haven't you?
Yeah, I did. It's just that I was like in that mood where I was like, if I think about it too much, I'm going to second guess myself. I just want to put this out there.
I understand this entirely, very much.
I think your movie trailer voice is really, really good. I love the twist at the end. So even if I hopefully they'll give you credit for writing, because I think the way that you formatted it all together, I think it came out really well. And then the disclaimer at the end was just the right speed. I liked it. So I wouldn't give you any negative on this one so far.
Thank you.
I think my only critique in regards to that, and it's very, very subtle, like when I think of movie trailers, like especially ones that are more geared towards children, maybe use a little bit of a lighter tone. And when I think of that type of thing, I think of Lifetime movies, which is stupid, but that's what I think of, like, you know, from the creators of Pawful, whatever, blah, 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 you know, like, I think very, very light, somewhat breathy, you know, very cheerful. I hope that as you're recording it, you were smiling the whole time, because that will really help bring that out. Which, I mean, I could tell it in just the tonality, but yeah, I think just a little bit of lightness, like you're, you know, prancing around in a field of something, flowers, snow, Christmas trees, whatever. The only other thing I have to say in regards to that is, I can't hear the word Sandy anymore without thinking about John Travolta in Grease, where he sees, you know, the love of his life and goes, Sandy, you know, like, so every time when I was listening to that, I just immediately thought, like, starring Sandy, you know.
It just, I got inspiration from a couple places, because I saw on TikTok, I'm following a voice actor on TikTok, and he did a mock SpongeBob trailer that was like someone showing like all their SpongeBob collectibles, and it repeated several characters. I was like, that's really funny. I want to incorporate that. And then I also have a Perfect Blue. It's an adult anime film, and I found it super hilarious that the studio that makes it is called G Kids. And the movie is rated R. So I was like, this doesn't make any, why? This looks so wrong. So I incorporated a lot of things into my little inspiration, and I was just so happy with it.
I think Brennan is trying to help you out down there. She says, A Field of Sandy is the Easter sequel.
There you go.
Thank you.
Oh man. Well, fantastic. Yeah, I really hope that you proceed on. Is third round the last round, or is there more after this?
5 rounds, I believe. The fifth round is the last one. So
nice.
Round 4 is the semifinal. So I'm really, really hoping I get this.
It keeps getting smaller and smaller, I'm assuming.
This last one, 238 people are going to proceed to round 3.
Oh, wow.
And so they're going to cut it again in half, I think, for round 4. So I'm thinking to myself, it's like, I'm really hoping I make it through. But if not, I just felt really good with what I put forward in this. So it's like,
it's a good idea.
I'm okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a hilarious idea. I think the presentation was pretty damn good. And I really hope that you move on to the next round. I'm really rooting for you. If there's a place that we can vote, if that's a possibility, feel free to shout it out now.
Yeah, it's no voting, unfortunately, for this one. It's just the judges.
Dang, I was hoping we could flub those numbers.
I will be submitting this audition, this submission to TikTok, though. I'll make a video thing with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think it'd be funny. Totally do it.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, thank you all for being here, and thank you for listening to Cold Read the Podcast. Again, if you have any demo reels you'd like us to go over, any auditions you'd like us to critique, we always provide constructive criticism. We will not bash you. We will not be mean to you. We always want the best for you. So if you have anything you'd like to submit, or if you'd like to be on a guest or be a guest on this podcast, please email us at coldreadthepodcast@gmail.com. That is coldreadthepodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Twitter @coldactor. We would love to talk to you. Next week is our season finale, and also probably the best intro you'll ever hear forever.
Wow.
No, I'm very excited, though. I'm very excited to share the culmination of the work that I've been putting in for the last 6 months with all of you, and I really hope that you enjoy it. We will also be interviewing, and I hope I don't mistake this name, but Rhiannon Muschel. She will be on. She's a very talented voice actress, and I think we're all very excited to meet her and get to know her. So until then, Renara, please give us your spiel.
Okay, I'm going to probably be a little bit more succinct in the sense of do not stop, keep going, and just keep enjoying what you're doing. And just, for all of the actors out there, just have a break. Learn to have a rest and just have a nice Christmas break or Yule break, whatever anyone celebrates, because I celebrate Yule. But yeah, I think everyone just needs to have that rest now, I think, to make us all ready to just step into the new year with as much enthusiasm as we did when we all started this, because we all lose sight of the passion at some point when you get too tired. So learn to rest, keep going, have a wonderful break, and we will see you on the other side, everyone.
Until next week, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye. Drink water.
There it is.
Now.